What you need to know this Wednesday begins in Cleveland, where there's a lot of little things coming out of the Browns' mandatory minicamp. And Duke Johnson, third-round draft pick a few years ago by the Cleveland Browns, he wants out because he's stuck behind Nick Chubb and eventually Kareem Hunt. And it's clear that he wants out. And he's at the mandatory minicamp because he doesn't want to have to pay $88,000 plus to skip the three-day minicamp, but he wants to be traded. Baker Mayfield, quarterback of the Browns and unquestioned team leader, addressed the Duke Johnson situation when he spoke to reporters yesterday. Here's what Baker Mayfield had to say.
That's something that we've been dealing with for a while. If we have guys that want to be here, they'll show that, they'll voice that. Obviously, he's going to handle his stuff how he wants. But you're either on this train or you're not. It's moving. You can get out the way or you can join us. So it is what it is.
Here's the thing, though. Duke Johnson wants to get out of the way. Right?
Yeah.
He wants to be traded. He doesn't want to be there. Later in the day, Freddie Kitchens, the coach of the team, talking to reporters about Gerald McCoy joining the Panthers, he said, we want guys who want to be here. Okay, fine, then trade Duke Johnson. You can't reconcile, on one hand, Baker Mayfield saying, hey, join us or get out of the way, and not letting Duke Johnson get out of the way. And I know that there's a strategic effort here to try to get value for Duke Johnson or keep him around, because all it takes is one false move from Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson's up. But yes, he wants to go. So it's a strong message from Baker Mayfield, but it ignores the reality that Duke Johnson doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, well, you're right. It does ignore the reality, but the reality is the Cleveland Browns want Duke Johnson right now. That's the reality, and Duke Johnson's not in a position to be able to call his shot right now. Especially, he's not that type of a player. First of all, to where he's going to kind of create a media frenzy around him, and people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, Duke Johnson wants out of the Cleveland Browns." No, he's a good player, but not a star or anything like that. But the ultimate point is this, Mike, that I think he's crazy for wanting to be traded right now. Nick Chubb's the only guy he's got to worry about. Yes, Kareem Hunt's going to be there during OTAs and training camp. Man, that's going to make practice better for you, Duke Johnson. But the first 8 weeks of the year, Kareem Hunt won't be there. They don't have that third down pass catching back on their offensive roster right now. He is that guy. So he really can be set up to have a hell of a year the first 8 weeks of the year, and we'll see where Kareem Hunt is at that point. Maybe he's trade bait at that point. I don't know. But I think he is a little early here in calling his shot for the trade, because I do believe that he's going to have a nice little role within this football team and in this offense, because they don't have anybody else at the running back position that fills the need that he does, is that third down, versatile, pass-catching back.
Yeah, and look, he's already gotten his second contract from the Cleveland Browns, so this isn't about setting himself up to get paid.
Right.
I just think that he feels marginalized by the arrival of Kareem Hunt and the rise of Nick Chubb.
Sure.
And I think that he sees the handwritings on the wall. At some point, they're going to decide we don't need Duke Johnson. He's trying to push that before it gets to that point so he can land somewhere else where he can make the team and justify his salary. I'm looking at what he's due to make over the next few years. $1.8 million this year. That's not all that much. But he's going to have to get himself in a spot where he justifies a $3.6 million salary in 2020 and $4.65 million in 2021. That's a lot for running backs.
Yes.
When there are a lot of guys out there you can draft and pay six figures to. I think this is why he's trying to push this. He wants to have a chance to earn his money in 2020 and 2021. The Browns aren't going to keep him for that, and he's going to have to go out and scrounge around for the best offer he can find. Whereas if he goes to a team where he can make an impact this year, maybe they happily pay him $3.6 million next year, especially if they gave something up to get him now.
Yeah, those are all valid points. I mean, you're right. I'm not going to argue against any of those. Only thing I'd argue against is that Duke Johnson, you're a part of a hell of an offense right now that's got a lot of talent, and you can kind of be the under the radar, nobody's thinking about you guy on that offense that can maybe benefit from having so much talent around you. And like I said previously, the fact that there is no guy on the roster that does the things Duke Johnson does coming out of the backfield, especially in the pass game, where he might be able to rack up enough stats and carve out enough of a niche for himself in that offense in the first 8 weeks of the year to where Kareem Hunt comes back. We don't expect him to be like totally 100% Kareem Hunt right away in week 9. So Duke Johnson's still going to have that role. And if things are going really well, they're not going to just be like, oh, Kareem Hunt's back. The hell with you, Duke Johnson. Get off the field. No, he's going to continue that role and set himself up really for probably a trade in the offseason, however it goes with Kareem Hunt, or maybe he does get released and has the stats that can justify the kind of money you're talking about for that 2020 season to where he signs somewhere else as a free agent and Cleveland does ultimately cut him. So I'm just saying Cleveland's not the worst scenario for this guy.
For this year.
Yes.
But I think the play is 2020. That's
you.
the key.
Right.
Doing enough this year so somebody wants you at those higher salaries in 2020 and 2021.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.